wanted to do a video just demonstrating the relationship between paint, water, and the brushes that I use. They've got to talk to one another, and it's an important relationship that only you can learn by touchy feely. You just got to play with this stuff until it becomes comfortable for you. I do not work with mediums. I work with water. The only medium I would use is a glazing medium, where I might use it to delay. It has a bit of a retardant in it, and I might use it to delay the drawing outdoors a little bit, or even in the studio if I wanted to do a soft cloud, or I was working with acrylics and portraiture and that. So other than that, it's just water. And you go to Golden's website, and they now accept the fact that it adheres perfectly fine, and there's no need to work with mediums if you choose not to. So I want to do a demo for a couple of different things. One, I'm going to work with brushes. This is a Bravero from Opus in Vancouver. It's a watercolor brush, and it is super soft. Next one is going to be a Legato, also from Vancouver, and you can see it's medium softness. Then we're going to move into a Catalyst from Princeton, and it is much stiffer brush. And finally, I'm going to show a Denman, which is the stiffest of the brushes that I use for acrylics. That's a Denman, and that is also from Opus. Doesn't matter that these particular brushes, it doesn't matter who they're from. It's to do with the degree of softness and flexibility. You can see that the big guys are all flats. In other words, they're longer, and I can take and play with them a bit. And the Rivera is a bright. It's shorter, but it's the angular one, which is one that I just happen to hit. So I've got water, it's just in a little pot, right? So I don't have a lot of water. I have two paints. I have one from Triart and one from Liquitex. Liquitex and Golden have about the same viscosity, if you like, in their paints. They're a little stiffer than this one. This is Triart's is a little softer. So right out of the tube, you know, they come and they can be quite different in the viscosity they're working with. One of the problems I see in my class is people are just adding too much water, and it's extremely thinned out. And just understanding how much, and it's a touchy feeling thing with it. So let's just play here with that. So I'm going to take my softer brush. Okay, this is my soft guy. I'm going to grab some of this. Do I have to have any water at all with that? No, I don't have to have any water at all. I'm going to clean that off, dry it well, go with the stiffer brush, or the stiffer paint, and same thing, you know, it's not going to spread well, but it's, you know, it's having an effect. I am moving it, no water at all. I am going to now take my medium brush. This is the Legato. I'm going to pick up some of the paint from Triart. Look at that. What a difference. So it's the brush now. This brush and that paint talk to one another. That is the right brush for that paint. That paint's viscosity with it. And the same with the stiffer paint from, yep, look at that. Not quite as much. So I'm going to take a little water. So it just, I don't even see me dipping that into the water. It's just a corner. Just the corner of the brush, add some of the paint back into that, and now it's diluting it out, and so it's thinning it, but I've got good coverage with almost no water at all with it. Let's grab Princeton. This is the Catalyst in Princeton. These are four of my favorite brushes. I'm going to grab a little bit of the red, and that will be, look at that. Wow, what a great drawing brush that is. But just full coverage, no water at all. You wipe it off and grab a little bit of the blue, should distribute the same way, no water at all. So you don't need it to be thin. Now, what if I take a dab of water and put it on the blue with the Princeton brush, just a dab of water, and it changes it quite a bit, right? You can see the color coming through that. Let's add a touch more water, and it's just the corner of my brush, just the corner of my brush. And it changes it. So it's that relationship between the two. let's put that up. Where was I? There, I think. With that and how that changes it. And that's what you've got to learn. That touchy feely and just how you want your paint and your water and your brush to speak with one another. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to dry off my denim. So this is the stiff. And you know what's going to happen with the stiffest. It's going to really, it's going to really lay that in. So this is the brush that I would use often at the end of a painting. If I want thick, juicy strokes, thick. And then dry it and go for the heavier paint, and it really lays it in. So there's not a lot of difference between the last two brushes, right? But at the end of the painting, I can take with the stiffer brush paint and just lay it on there and just juice it right up. Really, it's almost like working with a palette knife. And let that dry and develop texture with it. So each of them speak to the paint differently. But the big thing is you don't need hardly any water at all. These are two, international brands, Canadian and American, quality products. This one a little thinner, a little more moisture in it. This one a little heavier. Golden's about the same as that guy. So, just be very careful that you're not over diluting your paint. Let's add a bunch of water. So I'm going to fill this guy up with water. You can see what's happening here. Add a bunch of water, and this is a transparent. So I'll be moving almost into a glaze with it. But that is how I see a lot of the paintings that come to me. Very, very thin like that, and there's no vitality. There's no paint. Let's try it for the other. So this is an opaque one. And let's add a ton of water to the opaque with the heavy brush. And it's going to, because it's opaque, it's going to distribute out almost as well. So it's the transparents in particular that are going to have that effect on you. They're just simply thinner. You can see through them with it. Don't use a lot of water. Just the least amount necessary to distribute your paint. Hope that helps.